Alright, let's do it. Crab. Very scary. Oh crap, what the hell? That's not good. What moves first? 7. Holy crap, that damage. I can't prevent this damage. Can I? There's no way I can prevent this damage. They're way too tanky. I can do that. Well, I made use of it at least. This is the problem. I have to take this hit. Gotta hope for that 23%. Damn it. Crap, this thing already? This AoE is so insane. So many AoEs. Wow, look at that. That's an easy one. Oh crap! I have to prevent this. Right. Ah. Oh my god. Damn it. It's so painful. There's only one turn left, and then I think everything resets except for my power grid. So if that happens, it should be fine? This doesn't feel like to earn. Last time felt like to earn, and I failed that one. That's a miss. This thing didn't attack. Who goes first? Ah, 4 goes first. Damn it. Okay. Can I think Takumi dies if I do that. Not that it really matters. I get healed anyway next turn. So I just go for experience? Does Lynn even get experience from that? I don't think she does. Oh, the volcano! Right. Almost forgot about that. I did forget about that. Okay, so I think this might be to earn now. This might be to earn. I hope that I still get the reset, the turn reset. Because it's technically a new map, right? Turn reset, cooldown resets, everything plays. I don't like this positioning. These ones are really hard to get to. Yeah, there's 4 on the enemy side. Wow. That's rough. Pretty sure I can kill this thing, right? Oh, I got my reset. Oh, I could have knocked both of them back. Oh, crap. I could have knocked both of them back. Whoops. That was sloppy. I'm already making mistakes. Let's hope this kills, though. If it doesn't kill, then I lose so much HP. Nice. So let's hope for the 23 on this one. Nope. At least the boss is dead. That's the major problem. The biggest problem. Scion is back. The rock thingy is here now. Of course it targets my units. Nice. That's a miss. That's dangerous. That's really bad. I have to tank that hit, I think. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna lose again. Because I can't kill this. It's impossible. I can toss this back. That's an interesting play. But then I still tank a lot of damage. I might as well just kill this thing. But I can't do that without dealing damage to myself. I guess I can damage the bomb. But then I take damage here, here, and here. So this is 2 damage, this is 1 damage. That's actually lethal. Because this one I can't prevent, this is 2 damage. So I need to prevent one of them from attacking somehow. That's 1 damage if I do that. What are my other options? Lyn is in a really bad spot. 3 movements. 1, 2, 3. Attack this tile. Doesn't knock back. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't work. I could tank 2 damage in the bomb. If it means killing these. So 1, 2, 3 fling, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 5 movement. Oh, I just saw a play. Wait a second. Then Lyn dies to this. Is that worth it? I can also do the booster play. Wait a second. Oh wait, no, Lynn dies. Lynn doesn't die. What am I talking about? This one. This is the play. There we go. That's the play. Holy crap. Two turns left. I got this. Resist? 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 No resist. Okay, I can't take another hit. Wow, and this thing too. Okay, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. Oh my god, that one. That spot though. It just had to be that spot. I could kill this thing, technically. I could knock the bomb into the lava. Which would probably result in me losing. This is 1 damage. These two charge at each other. I can fling this away. It's singed. I can kill this. Okay, I think I got the play then. Okay, I think I got this. This is like... Oh, that thing went first? That's even better! I didn't see the priority. Okay, I got this then. I got this. This is easy. Famous last words? Okay, maybe not. Uh-oh. That's a miss, though. That's a good miss. I got this. It's over. I win. Finally. Right? This is my hard mode win. It's a very bad win, I think. I could do better, but a win's a win. I'm even gonna kill Lin because Takumi's an ass. Takumi is the biggest ass ever. Normal, hard, it doesn't matter. If only Lin had listened to me, they wouldn't have died. There we go. Easy pickings. I'm still sad about the previous timeline. That was such a big throw. Got him. I'm not happy about that one for sure. Definitely not happy about that one. Look at that. Zarya and Takumi. See, Takumi doesn't want to share the spotlight with Lin. So Takumi killed Lin. Nobody actually saw. Right? Nobody actually saw what happened. Good job, everyone. Good job, Takumi. You survived again. You're the best. I think the choice is obvious. Takumi came back. He's always back for more. He's back again! Alright. Well, I think that'll be it for the playthrough on YouTube. I may revisit the game for streaming. I may revisit the game in the future if there are any other patches in the future. But I think that about covers it. I do want to try out some new mechs though. Like, I'm really curious about this. This thing looks so badass. I'm just gonna buy it now. Blitzkrieg. Oh, it's RST. What else can I unlock? What else looks really badass? Frozen Titans. I want to unlock this one. I don't have enough coins now. Damn. Oh, that's what it is. Holy crap. That is so cool. Oh, Blitzcrank! Rock Accelerator. This is really awesome too, isn't it? That was a good purchase. I think I want to save for this one. But this one seems like a lot of fun. Chain Lightning. Blitzcrank. Might as well just call it Blitzcrank now. What is this one? Chain Lightning. Winston, then? Winston is Chain Lightning. Kinda. What is Boulder Mech? It tosses a rock. That's a weird one. I don't know why I'm doing this. I should just name them, though. Just, you know, why not? Edgy Black. What do I call this one? Geodude. Rock Throw. Good enough. Got one from Overwatch, one from League, one from Pokemon. Okay, I'm gonna do my closing statements. Alright. Closing statement time. As always, this is gonna be a reflection, not a review or anything more formal. The difference this time is I decided to wait until a little while later before doing these closing statements. And quite a lot of time has passed since I finished the Hard 2 Island run with Riftwalkers that you just saw. That was about, I think, 8 to 10 hours into the game. And I've since clocked in another 40 hours. I'm over 50 hours into the game now. So I feel more confident in talking about certain aspects of the game, especially from like a long-term perspective. So as you can see, I have basically everything unlocked. I just need to get the secret squad. That's gonna take a while though. You have to unlock everything, do all the achievements. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna do it. We'll see. But it's not gonna be on YouTube, I think. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the game a little bit, talk about my experiences. Some of them changed over time. But first, I'm gonna begin with the aesthetics. So audio-visual, starting off. The soundtrack, even while playing the game, even during the playthrough, you probably noticed me saying that this music is amazing. And it is. It's really cool. Really fitting, and it really captures that apocalyptic mood well. I've even been listening to the soundtrack while not playing the game. That's how good it is. My favorite song is the one called Old War Machines. It's one of the themes for the Archive Island. I love it. I really liked FTL's soundtrack too, and I think this game definitely lived up to that, if not surpassed it. As for the visual aspects, I think it's basically the same thing. It's a really nice art style. Overall, just captures that mood really well, the atmosphere, post-apocalyptic, that kind of stuff. So that was definitely very enjoyable. In terms of visuals during gameplay, though, I think overall they did a pretty good job with indicators, but some of them are a little bit less obvious. If they had stronger, more defined outlines when you highlight units, that probably would have been better. So, like, if something were attacking this mech, then the moment I highlight the enemy would be surrounded by, like, a little border with a vibrant, contrasting color, and then the mech would as well, and also have that range indicator. That would be really cool. Just a little more clarity. I mean, after you play the game for a long time, it doesn't really matter as much. You kind of get used to it. But during the playthrough, the normal and the hard playthroughs I did, sometimes it was a little more difficult to see some of the indicators. So just, overall thicker lines, contrasting colors. Also for environmental hazards, just a little bit thicker, more noticeable would have been great. Mainly, though, it is for newer players. Since I am talking a little bit about gameplay, I'm just going to lead into that, I guess. Gameplay really is the main part of this game. And the first impression that I had when I was still new at the game was that I had a lot to learn. I was making a lot of mistakes. And I think that still is true when I play the game. I still do make mistakes. I'm still learning. But I have run into situations where the RNG is inescapable or unpredictable. For example, once you get into the game more, you'll start counting the enemy movement steps a little more frequently. And what this does is you can start to predict how the enemy is going to move 1 to 2 turns in the future. I mean, this also includes the start position on the map and potential angles of attack for up to 2 turns. Enemies that have ranged attacks, like the spiders that snare you with the web, you have to position yourself in a certain way to avoid it. The digger enemies, not digger, the burrower enemies, the ones that burrow once they take damage and then they reappear the next turn. I don't remember if I ran into any of those during the hard playthroughs, but like you can play around those, you can manipulate their AI. There's so much you can do to control what seems like RNG in the beginning, but it's actually like some RNG and a lot of skill as well, and like thinking ahead, planning ahead. But regardless of that, even though you can predict their movements, even though you can predict their future movements on certain maps and, you know, cut off their angles of attack, RNG still is a thing, and sometimes it is inescapable. And this is definitely more noticeable on certain squads, like this one. I'll talk about that more later. RNG isn't a bad thing for roguelikes, especially when it's controllable, like most of the RNG in this game. Sometimes you end up trading damage for kills. Taking damage for kills, I mean. Sometimes you tank hits in order to preserve a perfect island run, because all you need to do is finish the achievements on the right side to get a perfect island. So you take grid damage, you take mech damage, just to get a perfect island sometimes. And there have been some runs where I've deliberately dropped my HP pretty low, like 1 to 2 bars, just for that perfect island run to get better rewards at the end. And you know, these runs eventually become successful runs because you can bounce back and win the game later. It's really cool how you can do that. It's a trade-off, and sometimes it's unavoidable. But yeah, RNG is definitely a potential issue in the game, but it's not even close to FTL's RNG. It's very controllable for the most part, and you can even account for it for your strategies, like trading damage for perfect runs and stuff like that. But when you do run into it, sometimes you could just end the run, and you might have to restart immediately when you start a run, like on the first island sometimes, because it ends up being kind of rough, and you like miss out on your perfect run opportunity, perfect island opportunity. That's just kind of how the game rolls, this style of game. And if you find that to be too much, then you may not enjoy the game that much. But from my experience, having played a lot of strategy games, having played this game for over 50 hours now, I personally don't think it's that bad. Another one of the major things that I noticed while I was playing was enemies attack in a very specific way. Their AI actually allows you to win. So for example, usually when there are 4 enemy units, one of them will always attack one of your mechs on the first turn. And you can manipulate this to make 2 enemies attack each other, or to make 2 enemies attack in the same area as the same mech. And then you use that mech to manipulate their movements a little bit. But of course, map RNG is also a big factor here. Point is, you can control this kind of stuff, even though it doesn't seem like it. As long as you keep the enemy population at 4 or less, it's possible to avoid almost all damage pretty easily once you get the hang of the game. And before the alphas spawn like crazy. On hard mode, this usually happens on the second island. You start getting a lot more alphas. On the 3rd or 4th island, if you're doing like an extended run, I think about 2/3 of all the units, if not more, are going to be alpha. So you got to be really careful. But overall, I think it's very lenient still. Basically, it turns the game into a puzzle game where you have to figure out the enemy's movements, their potential actions, position your units in a way that prevents damage on this turn and possibly even the next one, and just have a very strong mental approach when it comes to this game. It's very intelligent game design, and it feels really good to play, at least for me. Like, even this far into the game, playing the game this much, I still feel like the game is challenging, interesting, and enjoyable. As for the squads, I mean, I guess I'm on the squad screen right now, so we'll talk about that. This is what I think. The most powerful squad in the game is Rusting Hulks. They're just so good at controlling the map. I think second strongest is probably Hazardous Mechs, and then third one is Blitzkrieg. So 1, 2, 3. Riftwalkers and Frozen Titans and Flame Behemoths. I haven't cleared a run yet. I've only played this a little bit, and then I ended up switching to another game. This was on stream, so I never actually finished it, but I'm pretty sure I can finish it. I mean, I finished it with everything else, and this squad actually seems pretty strong from what I've seen. So Riftwalkers, Frozen Titans, and Flame Behemoth, probably in the middle somewhere. And then the worst squads are Zenith Guard and Steel Judoka. At first, you might think, oh, it's like high risk, high reward, these teams. And then once you play the other ones, you're like, wait, it's like low risk, high reward. This one is high risk, high reward, but the amount of damage they output and the potential control over the map and the enemy units is much higher than what these two offer. So it's a matter of comparing their viability. A Zenith Guard can do a lot of damage, but it takes a lot of time to ramp up, and during that ramp up time, you're going to be doing collateral damage a lot in the meantime. And if they're allowed to ramp up, sure, they can be very powerful, but every squad is powerful once they ramp up, so it really doesn't matter. If you want a powerhouse mech, get Hazardous Mechs. They take self-damage, but their passive actually allows you to drop to 0 HP, so essentially die, and then you resurrect from the healing afterwards. That's one of the most ridiculous parts of this team. It's really broken. The Laser Mech's straight line attack seems great on paper. It does a lot of damage, potentially, but the AoEs from the Hazardous Mechs is just more consistent for most maps. Steel Judoka is very, very hard to use. I actually think Steel Judoka is a little bit easier to use than Zenith Guard, but it's RNG reliant. So if you want to roll the dice, then by all means go for it. You're going to run into more bad situations with these two teams than any other team, and sometimes you might even have 0 attacks as Steel Judoka. That's how bad it is sometimes. But other times, they can be very powerful. Yeah, that is their problem. They rely too much on positioning. They're really great in open spaces where you can pivot around and manipulate the enemies really well, but most maps are not like that. They're not open spaces. They're claustrophobic, and there's a lot of like parallel lines, and then units stack up and all that. Kind of sucks for this team. The Judo Mech especially ends up losing out on many attacks, and for some units, like the Burrowers, you just can't even attack them because they're immune to knockback. The Judo attack, the flipping attack, the Singed Fling attack, it does the flip first and damage after. So since they're immune to movement, you just can't do it. And since they always go for highest damage dealt, they're going to go for situations where the Siege Mech can't hit them without dealing damage to your own units, potentially. If you're going to use Steel Judoka, just avoid the Burrowers, I think, is probably a good idea. They're not impossible to deal with, they're just very annoying for this team. And I guess on the topic of the Siege Mech, you're going to be dealing a ton of friendly fire damage until you can afford Buildings Immune. Even then, I mean, Buildings Immune really isn't that great, to be honest. It's alright. For my 3-island hard clear, I didn't actually level up Buildings Immune, because there were so many other things to invest into that ended up paying off more than Buildings Immune. So the cost of maintaining the squad over time probably takes priority over spending 2 power on Buildings Immune. But, you know, there is an RNG aspect to it. It really depends on the run. Generally speaking, though, with these two squads, I've noticed that the pattern is actually skills that have straight line targeting or function the best in straight lines tend to be less map friendly, which is why I think these two fail at being consistent more often. I mean, Rusting Hulks also has straight line attacks, but they're ground targeted straight line attacks, and they don't deal friendly fire, and they cancel the enemy's attacks. So for these two, if you can't deal knockback damage, then you're not going to kill the unit. But for Rusting Hulks, you don't even need to care about that. You just do the attack, and then their attack doesn't go off anymore because you smoke them. And then the smoke also deals damage to them. It's pretty ridiculous. If you're new to the game, Rusting Hulks is the cheapest and most powerful squad, so I highly recommend getting them because they only cost 2 coins. They deal a respectable amount of damage. It's not the highest. They're not going to deal as much damage as Zenith Guard, Hazardous Mechs, Blitzkrieg, or Flame Behemoth. So they're actually at the lower end of damage dealt. But they offer, I think, by far the best map control in the game, and map control is much more valuable than a lot of other aspects of the game. Because you can even make it so that the enemies just can't attack. If you position yourself really well and spread out the smoke properly, you can cut off all angles of attacks on certain structures. So it kind of trivializes the positioning and predicting element of dealing with enemies. Because you just deny them, period. That's it. It's ridiculous. I think my favorite team, though, is Frozen Titans. You can do some really creative things with the Cryomech, the freeze mechanic. Because freeze prevents all damage dealt, right? So you can combo it with the Janus Cannon, free yourself. You can combo it by freezing an enemy unit and then tanking a very powerful enemy unit. Like the Alpha Leapers, they do 5 damage, but if you freeze an enemy unit and then tank up that hit using freeze, because you freeze yourself when you use the cryo attack, you just tank up the damage and nothing happens. You can do a lot of really interesting things, unit manipulation things. So this is like map manipulation, this is unit manipulation, and I think this is really, really fun. But of course, I think a lot of the issues with certain squads, like Zenith Guard, you can probably fix. Steel Judoka, you can probably fix with the right pilot. I'm really enjoying Kazakh Pleth. I call them Kazakhs, for obvious reasons. Kazakhs with a lot of mechs is good. So mechs that deal indirect damage, like this, or mechs that can't deal any damage, like this one. Even mechs that, I mean, basically every mech, almost every mech, except maybe like Doomfist or something. This thing is amazing. But the FTL units take a long time to unlock. You have to break open mountains to unlock them, and that's kind of like an RNG thing as well. If you play long enough, they eventually get unlocked, especially if you do maps that actually have a lot of mountains in them and mountain missions. I think the best pilots are Kazakhs, Malphite, Camilla, and Silica. But Silica requires a lot of investment. He gets a double attack if you don't move. For beginner players, Bethany is great. I think Abe is really good too. So these two are probably the ones you want to start with if you have them available. You don't want to start with Camilla or Silica, but you can start with like Kazakhs, Malphite, Bethany, Abe. Those are really good. Prospero is broken with science mechs because he has flying, right? And you can teleport enemies into lava and water by using him. I think Ghana, Takumi, and Herald are good as well. They're decent, but everything else after that is probably not a unit you'd want to use. The repositioning ones, like these two, they're okay. Odin Dark is awful. Isaac Jones is pretty awful too. But if you make a lot of mistakes, you can probably use them. Archimedes is another positioning one. It's alright. Yeah, that's like a little overview, I guess, of the units from my experience. It may not be completely the same as your experience. I think that's really all there is to talk about. I mean, story is a thing too, but it really isn't a thing in this game. It's just kind of there to set up the mood and the setting. But the character interactions are fun. Like, Takumi's a hilarious character. Aside from that, though, there really isn't much to story. It's very subtle, it just kind of gets everything going. Dialogue is funny. That's about it. So overall, I think that this is a good game to play if you enjoy strategy games. I highly recommend it if you like strategy games. It may take some time to learn everything, but if you're like me and just like to casually mess around and learn things over time, then this is probably a game for you. You can get a lot of mileage out of this game for only 15 bucks. Especially if you try to, you know, do every squad, do all the achievements and stuff. It's really interesting. And yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about the game. Really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the playthrough as well. If you want to check out my other playthroughs of this game, the hard mode ones, they're going to be on my Twitch channel, because I ended up streaming the game a little bit. But yeah, that'll be all for now then. I'm Ventus, This has been Into the Breach. It's time to shift timelines and say goodbye. For now. Until next time. Thanks for watching.